How's it going, horror fans? It's your favorite horror geek, Joby Snyder. And I would like to sit down and talk about made for TV horror films. One in general, to be precise. I know most of us horror fans really like to get into the nitty gritty of what horror is and get the gore and the violence and the sex and the drug use and all of that shit that comes in a graphic horror movie. However, there is horror that exists that doesn't really carry all that. And some people, most fans of really hardcore horror, will say that that's mediocre. It's not good horror. I disagree. I have a thing about PG-13 horror films. I'm not a big fan of them, but there are a few that exist that are actually really good, and they do that so a younger audience can go to the movie theater and watch these movies without having to be 18 to see a rated R movie. But they also, especially back in the day, when you really think about what the 80s was and what the 90s was, they did made-for-TV films. And they did some horror. And today's film, we are going to be talking about the 1998 made-for-TV horror movie, I've Been Waiting for You. Now, just some quick side notes about the film. Actually, I've Been Waiting for You was based off the 1997 novel Gallows Hill, which was written by Lois Duncan. And Lois Duncan actually also wrote the novel I Know What You Did Last Summer. So that's pretty cool that they're connected in that way, and they have similar vibes, both films, but one's vastly better than the other, and we will get to that in a moment. I want to say that the film is directed by Christopher Litch. It has a running time of 90 minutes, and on March 22nd of 1998, great year, it aired on the network NBC. This is actually not a bad movie, but if you aren't into slow burns, if you're not into... It's basically a teen drama with a little bit of horror mixed in with it. However, they had to keep it as TV appropriate as they could. So if you're looking for great kills, if you're looking for bloody moments, if you're looking for foul language, you're not going to get that in this movie. And we did get that in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Definitely not this movie, but it has such great potential. Could have been a really great slasher movie. And it has slasher elements. It really does. But it doesn't grab upon them as this movie would if it got a theatrical release. I do believe even if this wasn't a made-for-TV movie and it got a theatrical release, it would have got a PG-13 rating. Absolutely. This is actually a really good story. Years ago, this girl is carried out of her house and she is accused of witchcraft, and she is burned at the stake. Jump to 1998, and this young girl, Sarah, is moving into this creepy house in this strange new town with her mom, and she's the outcast. She's a new girl. She's an outcast, and the popular kids, this group of popular kids that call themselves the Descendants, are actually descendants of the people that burned the girl in the beginning of the movie at the stake. And they believe that Sarah is a witch that has come to the town to knock them off one by one. However, there is somebody in a mask with very long claws trying to get to them first. And what a great fucking plot. I mean, that's a pretty cool idea. This has Scream and The Craft kind of mixed into it, but definitely PG-13 vibes. This is a really cool movie because it's so nostalgic. It definitely has that 90s horror vibe. Like, you get that 90s horror teen vibe. It definitely has that, but that's all it has. And the story is solid, and the performances are great too. It's a really interesting film. But you're going to be bored if you're thinking that you're getting what Scream was in 96 and what I Know What You Did Last Summer was in 97. This takes from those, but again, it's very filtered because it was aired on NBC. I'm not saying this film is absolutely for kids. It's definitely for young teens and teenagers. But if you're trying to get your child into the horror world and you don't want to like start off with crazy shit or even with Chucky or Freddy, this is a great starter kit, I think. It definitely has adult vibes. It's definitely not for children, but it's not going to terrify them, and it's not going to corrupt them as, you know, other horror movies could do. The look of the killer in this movie, I really love it. They did a great job. I love the mask. I love the weapon. And I love the maybe 20 minutes he's on screen in segments. We don't get him very often. And the kills, there's only 2, and they're very shitty. Like, they could have done better. Even with this being a made-for-TV film, they could have done so much better and given us something more, I think. But that's why this is so great to have maybe your 10-year-old, or if your kid wants to watch a scary movie, and again, you don't want to, freak them out with something crazy, this is the way to go. I really wanted more of the killer. I wanted more of that, but that's what I'm into. I was into Scream. I was into I Know What You Did Last Summer. We got a lot of the killer. We don't get that in this. We do get a stellar chase scene, which would have been really cool with a kill added, but we don't get a kill. We do get a chase scene, and it's your normal horror chase scene. It works. I do want to say that the character of Sarah is very interesting. She's definitely a role model for young girls that are wanting to start the craft or practice Wicca, and she definitely reminds me of Sarah, which is the main character in The Craft. It's almost the same concept of characters in a way, which both Scream and The Craft came out in 96. So I'm really certain that when they were filming this, they used I Know What You Did Last Summer because it's from the same author to give it hype, to be like, oh, I love I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is going to be really good. This is going to be really cool. And they took segments and elements from Scream. Scream came out again in 96. So these films are not far apart. But The Craft also came out in 96. So it has all of that. All of those kind of films bind it together, but in a really juvenile way. It's definitely not, if you're looking for a gore fest, not going to get it. Basically no blood at all. And you don't really need that all the time in horror movies. Some movies are good. So it's suspenseful. It is got jump scares and it's got creepy moments. It's not. I'm not saying that if it doesn't have blood or girls running around with their tits out that it's not a good horror movie, but you can definitely do more when you have an open window with a rated R, with a R rating, or even an unrated filter. If you have that, you can do more, and I've seen some pretty fucked up horror movies. But I've also seen horror movies that are okay for, again, a 10-year-old to watch. And there's so many PG-13 horror movies. And this really falls into the beginning of that and what PG-13 horror is and what PG horror is even. And again, this was on television. So they could only do what they could do. They had only so much space and so much freedom to make this as scary as they could make it, which again, it's not scary. It's very easy to sit through. And I'm sure your 5-year-old could sit down and watch it and not get scared. It's not very violent. There are some violent aspects and some moments, but it's not over the top. It's very filtered, like I said. And if you are a fan of a whodunit or who's doing it, I'm telling you, they try it with this. And as soon as you meet the characters and you meet the character, you know who the killer is going to be at the end of the movie. Like, it's no surprise. It's very fucking obvious who the killer is going to end up being. So there's no surprise. I was like, oh, okay, knew that. It's not like how we were guessing in Scream and guessing and I Know What You Did Last Summer and even other films, Urban Legend, like all of those whodunit horror movies, slasher films. They try to use that. It does not work because it's very, very clear who the killer is. I'm not ripping on this movie. I actually, in a way, I enjoyed it. This is actually a good movie to sit down with a pizza and maybe some popcorn and just kind of know that you're getting into a 90s teen drama thriller with horror elements. That's what you're getting into. But it's really cool because it's nostalgic. It's definitely 90s. It's definitely late 90s, and it has those early 2000 vibes. But the cool thing that you can do is I actually watched this. I seen it years ago on VHS when I was younger and thought it was trash. I didn't pay attention to it. Now that I'm older, I can appreciate this stuff a little bit more. And I was able to watch it again, but I got to watch it on YouTube. And the version I watched comes with the original commercials that aired on that day that the film aired. So I think, I guess it doesn't really have anything to do with the film, but I thought that was really great and nostalgic, and it was fun to see those commercials and kind of feel like it was 98 all over again. I was 8 years old. So, it's a really cool feeling. So if you're wanting that feeling and you're wanting that vibe, you can find the video on YouTube. Like I said, this is a cool popcorn movie, and it's definitely a great starter kit if your kid's like, oh, I want to watch a scary movie. Oh, it's Halloween, I want to watch a scary movie. Show them I've Been Waiting for You. And if you're looking for something to watch tonight, guys, I highly recommend you go check out I've Been Waiting for You. You might be disappointed, you may not like it, but it definitely deserves a watch. It's definitely It's definitely earned its place in the horror community. So until next time, my friends, I hope you stay scared, stay safe, and happy watching.